All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about how one private company, Elon Musk's Starlink, is on the path to building a totally new kind of global empire. This one isn't about land or resources. It's about controlling the flow of information itself.
This quote right here, it just nails it. It's talking about what looks like a simple photograph, but trust me, it represents a technological shift with consequences we're only just starting to wrap our heads around.
So what is this world-changing image? Well, you're looking at dozens and dozens of Starlink satellites, all packed neatly inside a SpaceX rocket, hundreds of kilometers up, just waiting to be released into orbit. But this is about so much more than just a bunch of satellites.
Yeah, this revolution is being fueled by an incredible concentration of wealth. Get this, 9 of the 10 richest people on the entire planet are now in the tech industry. That's a consolidation of power in one sector that we really haven't seen since the days of the robber barons.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit from those individual satellites and take a look at the huge system they're a part of. What exactly is Starlink?
In Musk's own words, the whole point is to, quote, rebuild the internet in space. I mean, talk about ambitious, right? The idea is to create one single network that can beam high-speed internet down to every single corner of the globe, and in doing so, tap into a market worth about $1 trillion a year.
And the scale of this thing is just staggering. The first plan called for about 4,000 satellites. Today, the goal is 42,000. That's enough to create this dense, powerful mesh of connectivity that literally blankets the entire planet.
So you have to be asking, how is this even possible? How can one company pull off an infrastructure project this massive, this quickly? Well, the answer comes down to an exponential lead in technology. Let's look at the numbers.
So, this first chart, it shows the raw number of space launches in 2025. You can see the US is clearly leading the pack, launching more than double what China does. But honestly, this chart doesn't even tell the full story, not even close.
And this is where it gets absolutely wild. When you look at the total weight, the actual amount of stuff they're putting into orbit, the picture completely changes. The US, which is mostly SpaceX, launched nearly 90% of all the mass that went into space in 2025. That's not just growing a little faster, it's exponential growth while everyone else is still on a straight line.
So what's the secret sauce here? It's all about reusable rockets. SpaceX figured out how to do these, well, they've been called miraculous reentries. They allow the most expensive piece of the rocket, the booster, to fly back and land itself safely so it can be used over and over and over again.
And that ability to reuse rockets has completely upended the economics of getting to space. The cost to launch 1 little kilogram into orbit has just plummeted. We're talking from tens of thousands of dollars down to just a few hundred. That's the key. That's what makes a 42,000 satellite constellation even financially possible.
And they are not slowing down. The next-gen rocket, Starship, can carry 10 times the cargo of the current Falcon 9. So we're about to go from launching dozens of satellites at a time to launching hundreds. The pace is only going to get faster.
But look, providing internet to people in remote places is really just the start. The real long-term ambition here is so much bigger. It's about controlling the very infrastructure that moves all the world's data.
This analogy really helps put it all into perspective. Think about it. Back in the 20th century, power was all about controlling physical transport. Well, in the 21st century, it's about controlling data transport. And that's exactly what Starlink is aiming to do.
Starlink isn't just another internet company. The goal is for it to be the pipeline for, well, everything. Our video calls, our Netflix streams, our financial data, even the huge data sets that are going to power artificial intelligence. It's designed to be the planet's new essential utility.
The ultimate vision here is to make trillions of dollars worth of infrastructure we have on the ground, all those undersea cables, cell towers, fiber optic lines, to make them basically obsolete, to replace them all with one single, more efficient network that lives in space.
And just take a look at the lead they already have. This table shows you the number of active satellites for all the major players. Starlink has nearly 9,000. Its closest competitor, just over 650. It's not even a competition at this point. The lead is just immense.
So all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of the story, the really deep political and societal questions that this new reality brings up.
So what's the end game here? Well, it's the concentration of control over global communications in the hands of one private citizen whose company is deeply tied to one nation, the United States. In theory,
One person could now sway a conflict or manage the communications for almost 200 countries.
And you've got to understand, this relationship is a two-way street. Musk can't operate without getting licenses and using launch sites from the US government. But at the same time, the US government gets this incredible projection of technological power on the world stage, something only Musk can give them right now. They need each other.
And that brings us to the real challenge, doesn't it? Our laws for things like monopolies, data privacy, and telecom regulations, they were all designed for national companies. They just seem kind of quaint, almost archaic when you're talking about a single global system that operates from space.
And that really leaves us with the central question. As this one private network grows and wraps itself around the entire planet, who gets to decide how it's governed? Who sets the rules of the road? And who makes sure that this incredible new power is actually used to serve all of humanity? That's something we're all going to have to think about.